What is happening, Austin Men's Development? Today, we are going to talk about divorce and custody and this rite of passage we've received as a man. You as a man are going to go through a challenge that is going to be arguably harder than anything you've gone through. It is going to challenge you at every depth of who you are, and where you come out on at the end could be tragic or it could be beautiful. So that's what we're talking about. All right, so we are on our rebuild challenge call. Gentlemen, if you're going through like a divorce or a custody thing, or you're just trying to find yourself, I mean, this is where the work gets done. And actually these 11 a.m. calls, at least my time, are some of my favorites. You can check out the links down below to get involved in it in the month of July 2020. It's $10 to get involved, which is like kind of ridiculous. I'm going to raise it because sadly enough, the guys on the rebuild aren't doing enough. And I hate to say it, when you raise prices, people tend to do more. So check this out. When you're a guy going through child custody, here's a lot of the things that happen, right? You can't see your kids. False abuse claims get put against you. False violent claims get put against you in all these different ways. You get your reputation ruined. You get it attacked. You can't see your kids. Your kids have to be raised by another man. Maybe that other man's bad. Maybe there's abuse going on. Maybe there's these things happening. You give money to an attorney. That attorney, says they're going to do the world for you. And then at the, last minute, they drop the ball. There's all these different things that happen where we have resources on helping you. The first step in that is downloading the free Divorced Dad's Guide, which is in the show notes down below. But there's a lot of stuff that's bad that is going to happen, right? And every guy, it's so funny when we talk to marketers about how to sell to men that are going through a divorce, which I am very clean with not doing this, is that it's like how to get the revenge you deserve, how to make her pay for what she's done. Like these are like the big angles marketing wise going that happen. But here's the deal is when everybody's going through a divorce, nobody's sane. Everybody's not in their right mind. Everybody is like blown out. And we get into these delusions, we get into this blame, we get into this BS, and there's tons of stuff to blame. I don't want to hear that from you. I want to hear you be able to vent about it, but I don't want you to ever think that that's the solution. Because here's the deal. If you win, if you totally fuck up your ex's life, if you get custody of her kids, if you publicly shame her as the bad person she is, you have still not won. Because the winning in all of this is going to be your relationship with your kid and your relationship to yourself. And the best thing you can do, whether you're on a case where you're winning and you're totally kicking butt and you're doing everything right legally, or your back is against the wall and you're totally screwed legally, the answer is work on yourself. Because right now, your child is 2, 10, 5, whatever. What is going to matter, and I get it, there's a terrible stress being put on your kids at this moment, and you're a part of it. You're a part of that, right? Even if she left you, you're a part of that. There's a terrible stress that is undeniable. There's all the psychological research in it. But what you can do is start working on yourself. You have to start working on yourself. And here's what's up, is I won't take you as a client on my groups if that's not a part of the equation. So I don't care if you have problems. I don't care if we were talking a lot about post-traumatic stress in the last post-traumatic stress disorder in the last couple calls. Like, I don't care if you have that. I have that. Like, that's fine. I don't care if you have a history of X, Y, and Z. I don't care if you did something really bad in your marriage. I don't care about any of those things. What I care about is your ability to take responsibility for yourself and make yourself better. I get it that your court case is massively stressful. We'll help you with that, but there's only so much you can do. At a certain point, it's like, okay, it looks like you're not going to win. Fix yourself. Okay, it looks like you're going to win. Why are you not fixing yourself? Why are you using your win as an example or representation so you don't have to work on you? Like, your importance of being a father as a single father or remarrying or whatever it is so instrumental in your children's life. And you may not get it, but all of us who've been out on the other side of this do get it. Your kid 3 years from now, 5 years from now is going to need stability and to understand what's happened. And I'll tell you this, man, if your kid is, I've been talking about this a lot with a couple different colleagues, which is amazing. And just really opening my mind to stuff is that if your child is going through an abusive situation, number one, you call CPS, right? You don't bitch about it. You don't complain. You don't say the court systems are unfair. Like if that's happening, you do what our government, our great government in the US is established to take care of. Now, there could be problems, but we have that. We have that. That's pretty amazing, right? We have that in this. That's a great attribute. We have a court system which can fail in a lot of ways, but is way better than other countries. Now, I would not want to live anywhere outside of the U.S. in terms of the criminal justice system. And I've been burned by it, right? Or so I feel, but it's still better. So if your child is going through an abusive situation or trauma that comes from the mother or you or whatever the situation is, that trauma isn't going to pass from 5 to 10 years old. That trauma is going to come up again as an adolescent. That trauma is going to come up again as a young adult. That trauma is going to come up again when they become a parent. You have to be strong for that. What are you doing dropping the ball at this? What are you doing as a man hitting the bottle? What are you doing as a man complaining? What are you doing as a man like going to whatever it is, the different forums for men that just are like bitching and complaining about how bad your life is and I get it. It hurts. You need to be at a spot where you say like, man, this hurts and I can't bear it. You need to be at a spot that goes like, man, I want help. Please help me. But you are investing in your kid's future, your future self, to make them bankrupt by not accepting responsibility of it. So there's a tough line here. Men, I know you're hurt. I've been through the process. Like I needed to be there, but I had to be around men where it's like, man, you're hurt, you're pissed off. Okay, let's talk shit. Let's focus on our mind. Let's focus on our body. Let's focus on something that's going to make us better, because our future is going to directly affect our kids. And like I said, if there's some real stuff going on, or let's say there's not so much real stuff, they're just the kids are dealing with the trauma of the split of their parents, right? They're going to need you 5 years from now, because that's going to have to process out, when they're 10 or whatever age that is from 5 years from now. But they're also going to need it as an adolescent when things don't make sense and that anger comes up, that confusion comes up, and they don't know how to deal with it. They need their stable father. They don't need their father that gave up and said the court screwed him, so now it's my excuse to be a loser. Man, your job as a man is you're going to take blows in life that do not make sense. And I hear stuff like this from vets. They say, man, I fought in the war. I don't want to have to fight another war. This war is worse. The war of fighting for my kids. Man, I understand it. But that fight came to you. You got to take it. And in that fight isn't about the winning, right? That fight isn't about what you call victory. That fight is about stabilizing who you are so that you can be there for your kids when they need you. And how do you do that? One, there's a time and a place for your blame and your gossip and your shit talking, but that needs to go away. We'll take it. Two, how do you get your mind right? How do you find peace? One of the greatest attributes of divorced men that make the commitment to work on themselves is they become happier, more functional, and know how to work their mind. They get their dark side. They integrate that. They get what nobility is. They get what virtue is, right? How do we take care of our body, right? Now, I'm not saying you need to get ripped and fit or whatever. I mean, man, I'm not. Well, I'm fit. It's a big part of my life, but I don't care about the image of health. I care about being healthy for my kids so I don't die, right? Okay. How do I get social? How do I get to a spot where I can be able to connect and communicate with people? Because one of the things is, and you can do that at all different levels. Like I'm a highly social person, but your child needs to learn what it's like when they're having a bad day, when they go through their breakup, man, when they go through their pains, and how can they show up in front of another person and still communicate who they are? Where is that? Am I going to wear my heart on my sleeve, or am I going to be able to respect other people around me without me dumping my damage on them? How am I going to take care of my sexuality, my masculinity? Like, how are we going to rebuild that? So we don't have relationships that take in our own poverty and our emotional poverty and create life into that, whether that's life of the new relationship or having more kids in that situation. You know, how do we respect our masculinity and the pursuit of the feminine in that? They need to see that. They need to see your purpose. They need to see your ambition, not just being some cheap thing where they have to turn to social media or whatever that is when they grow up, of how to be a role model and who they are to have meaning in their lives, but how you found meaning in their lives. So when they do go off the deep end and they do, you know, get too caught up in whatever Snapchat, whatever shit's out there, and they go like, man, but the real pride came from my father. Dads, you're going through a divorce. You're screwed. You're fucked. I hear you, man. Let's talk about it. Download my PDF. Let's get to work. But your job is that you need to invest in the relationship with your kids later. You need to be the role model that they're going to need to go through the inevitable hard times that come in their life. And that does not mean that you're sitting around complaining. That doesn't mean that you politicize your intimate relationship that broke apart. That means that you take care of those things. And that is the fight that you're in. That is the rite of passage. That is the clear path that you've been given as a man where you've had your life fall apart by a woman. Fix it. Make it better, because what needs it is not only you, which is the most important person here, right? But it's those kids that are going to need you through the cycles of their life, which are going to be very confusing, right? Whatever pain they have now is going to re-come up in their adolescence. It's going to re-come up in their early 20s. It's going to re-come up in their adulthood. It's going to re-come up when they become parents. And they need you to be your best. And plus, life is a lot better when you do it that way, when you can live for that. All right. Happy Friday. I'm going to get on the road, head up to Dallas. We'll talk to you guys soon.